We have came in. Someone wants to know what's your advice for someone switching from a W-2 job to self.
Okay, number one, do it.
I was going to say that too.
Yeah. Yeah. Once you go from W-2 to self-employment, the whole world changes because you're switching your category, basically. People have a very mixed opinions on Robert Kiyosaki, but I think he's massively misunderstood. But he came up with this idea of the B or the cash flow quadrant. And basically, it's four sectors, and one is employee, self-employed, business owner, and investor. Now, the particulars don't really matter, but the fundamental difference is that as an employee, you are the most restricted because they get you upfront. So when the income tax was created back in 1913, you just filed stuff once a year and you paid once a year. That was it. And then World War II comes around and the government wants more money. So they passed the Current Withholding Act. I think I'm missing up the name there a little bit, but basically, it was Milton Friedman's brainchild, Mr. Libertarian of all the people, said that if we collect the taxes up front and do withholdings from their paychecks, then we don't have to rely on them so much to file at the end of the year because compliance was not high. So ever since World War II, the government has been taking money out of people's paychecks directly, and that's the system we have today. Social Security tax, Medicare tax, income taxes are all grabbed up front, and you can only do your best to get back what you can on the income tax side. Social Security, Medicare tax, that money's gone. You're never getting that back because it's already spent. For income tax, you can file and say, I didn't actually make as much as I thought I was going to, so you owe me some of that back. But you're limited in that situation significantly. Scenario two, you are owning your own business. Whether you're a contractor or 1099 or whatever, you're still owning your own business. And a lot of people don't understand that. But once you're controlling your own destiny, then you have options. How much do I want to pay myself? Like we were talking about with the reasonable compensation. Do I want to contribute to retirement plans? Do I want to create tax-free benefits? Do I want to do this? Do I want to do that? Do I want to be structured as a partnership, an S corporation, a Schedule C? All these different choices are become options once you are self-employed. And your tax efficiency is going to be, assuming you have any degree of planning, is going to be vastly better on the self-employed side. If you're a W-2 worker, you might be familiar with the fact that contractors make more. And the reason for that is that the employer does not have to cover employer taxes, which is 7%, and they don't have to cover unemployment and they don't have to cover liability insurance. I'm blanking on the term. But basically, it's 10 to 15% cheaper to hire a contractor than it is to hire an employee. And so that cost savings gets passed on to the contractor because you're still competing for labor. So a contractor off the bat is going to earn more because those cost burdens are shifted to the contractor. So that's number one. But the biggest difference is that an employee gets taxed through the current withholding taxes, and then has the remainder of their take-home pay to spend. A small business, or any business, earns and then spends and then gets taxed on the remainder. And so that difference in order makes all the difference in the world because you can choose how much or how little to spend, and that's going to dictate what your tax situation ends up being. So to put figures to it, basically, given the same amount of income, if you have anybody in your corner at all when it comes to tax planning, you're going to pay half as much as a small business person than you are as an employee. And that's definitely worth doing. And maybe that means you can do less work. I've seen people take that option. We had a client just the other day who was a big W-2 employee at Facebook or Meta or whatever it's called, and stopped doing that, started contracting for herself, and is bringing in a little bit less, but take-home pay is actually the same because she's working less but has more flexibility, and she's taking that flexibility to take care of her daughter and all this kind of stuff. Her standard of living remains the same because it's just more tax efficient on the contractor side. So yeah, I think everybody should be in business for themselves. And I get pushback on that, but that's still how I feel. That's so I still say just do it. I think you'll be better off.